https://www.youtube.com/watch?v=tnogola 0fxs. I never planned on becoming a hero that day. I was just a single dad, a weekend volunteer who'd climbed that trail on pure instinct. But the mountain had other ideas. Smoke swallowed the ridge like a living monster, flames racing through the canopy and devouring everything in their path. Avery Quinn sat against the cracked concrete at the base of the abandoned fire tower, her left leg twisted at a sickening angle. She looked straight into my eyes, voice steady through the pain and ash. "I can't walk. Leave me now." Those words hit harder than the heat closing in around us. She meant every syllable. No panic, just cold, clear math from a woman who had already accepted her fate. But I wasn't walking away. Not then. Not ever. My name is Connor Hale. Most days, I'm nobody special. Average height, lean from years of hiking instead of gyms, dark hair going gray at the temples, the kind of face people forget unless they need help. I'd been volunteering with Highland County Search and Rescue for 3 years, weekends mostly, whenever my sister could watch my boy. It started as a way to clear my head after the divorce, a way to feel useful again. That afternoon, my phone was still warm from the call home. "Yeah, buddy, I'll be there for pickup. Don't forget your backpack." Liam's 6-year-old voice came back bright and certain. "I won't. Love you, Dad." "Love you too, kiddo." That's what happens when it's just the two of us. He already had a better handle on routine than most adults I knew. Then the radio crackled. Fire alert in the Ridgefall sector. They were pulling everyone back. Something in my gut said otherwise. I found her rental car alone in the upper lot. No note, no driver. That's when I started up the old tower trail, the overgrown one nobody used anymore. The air turned thick, bitter. Smoke stung my eyes. I pushed harder. Then I spotted her technical backpack near the fork, survey gear still clipped to it, professional. I kept climbing until the tower appeared through the haze. There she was, Avery, land surveyor checking boundary markers for a massive development proposal. She'd discovered the markers had been moved. Someone was trying to steal protected forest land worth $40 million. The stairs had collapsed beneath her. She'd been waiting 2 hours, alone. "Turn around," she said firmly. "The fire's coming. You need to save yourself." I knelt beside her. What happened? Stairs gave way. I fell 12 feet, tibia fractured, maybe fibula too. She was 5'8", 140, and every calculation in her head told her I couldn't carry her down that steep, smoky trail. She told me so, point blank. I looked her dead in the eye and said the words that changed everything. "Watch me." She stared for a long second, then whispered something I'll carry forever. "If you drop me, I won't blame you. Just save yourself." "I won't drop you," I answered, "and I'm not leaving you here to burn. Not today. Not ever." I lifted her in one smooth motion. Pain exploded across her face, but she locked her arms around my neck without another sound. I started down that burning mountain with a woman I'd just met on my back. Every step was pure fire. My shoulders screamed. My thighs shook. Smoke blinded us. The roar of the flames chased us like death itself. Halfway down, she gasped against my ear. "You have a family?" "A son, Liam. He's 6. "Then why risk everything for a stranger?" I kept moving, breath ragged. "Because if I left you, I could never look him in the eyes again." The fire roared closer. Trees exploded behind us. My foot slipped on a root and we crashed down a sudden drop. I twisted midair, taking the impact on my hip and shoulder to protect her leg. Avery cried out, then said fiercely, "Get up, Connor! We're not dying on this mountain!" I rose. Somehow, we reached my truck just as the fire crested the ridge. I collapsed beside the door, lungs burning. Avery somehow pulled herself into the passenger seat. "You're insane," she said, voice shaking with disbelief and something that sounded a lot like wonder. I started the engine and smiled through the ash on my face. Been told that before. At Valley Ridge Medical Center, they confirmed her fractures and prepped her for surgery the next morning. But the real story was just beginning. Avery told me everything that night from her hospital bed. The boundary markers had been deliberately moved to reclassify protected land. Someone had set that fire on purpose to destroy her evidence and silence her forever. She'd received threats. The development company had everything to lose. I could have stayed quiet, but when she asked me to speak at the public hearing the following week, I stood at that microphone in front of 50 people and said words that still echo in my mind. "You can move those markers, you can start those fires, but you will never burn away the truth." The room went dead silent. The county ordered an independent survey. The project was halted. 2 nights later, my phone rang at 2 in the morning. Avery's voice, shaken but strong. Someone just tried to break into my apartment. Crowbar marks on the lock. I was out the door before she finished speaking. Stay put, I'm on my way. That night, she came home with me. You're staying here, I told her. No arguments. Liam and I have a spare room. You're safe now. Liam took to her instantly. He loved her maps and endless questions about dinosaurs. She loved his wild drawings and the way he asked about everything. Watching them color together at our kitchen table felt like something I hadn't known I was missing. One quiet evening on the back porch after Liam was asleep, Avery turned to me under the stars. I'm going back to work next week. New project. Different county. She paused, eyes soft. Come with me for a weekend. There's a lake. Real hiking this time. No fires. I smiled. When do we leave? The development company was exposed. The guilty were arrested. The forest began to heal. And so did we. 5 years later, I still volunteer on weekends. Liam is 11 now and talks about joining search and rescue when he grows up. Avery and I got married last spring under those same mountains, now green and peaceful again. She still surveys land, but now she teaches young surveyors to speak up when something feels wrong. Sometimes I think back to that moment on the burning ridge when Avery said, "Leave me now." I never did. And that one decision didn't just save a life. It gave me a new family, a new future, and the kind of love that rises stronger from the ashes. Because sometimes, the bravest thing a father can do isn't just carrying someone down a mountain. It's refusing to let evil win and finding everything you never knew you needed in the fire. In the heart-pounding inferno of the Ridgefall wildfire, where flames devoured the ancient forest like a living monster, a single dad named Connor Hale became an unlikely hero. And in doing so, he gifted us one of life's most profoundly emotional lessons. Sometimes, the bravest thing a father can do is refuse to leave anyone behind, even a stranger, because that single choice can pull an entire future from the ashes and prove that love is stronger than fire itself. Connor wasn't seeking glory that day. He was just a weekend volunteer, lean and graying at the temples, whose heart was already full with 6-year-old Liam waiting at home. Yet when he found Surveyor Avery Quinn broken and alone on that collapsing fire tower, her legs shattered, evidence of massive land fraud burning around her, he looked her in the eyes and said the words that still echo, "Watch me." Lifting her onto his back, he carried her down through choking smoke and exploding trees, slipping and falling yet rising again, all because he knew that if he abandoned her, he could never look his own son in the eyes again. That act of raw, selfless courage didn't just save Avery's life, it exposed deliberate arson by a corrupt developer, gave her a voice at the public hearing where Connor declared, "You can start those fires, but you will never burn away the truth," and sparked a love that healed them both. 5 years later, they're married under those same now peaceful mountains. Liam dreams of joining search and rescue, and their family stands as living proof that one father's refusal to walk away can turn terror into forever. This story pierces the soul because it shows us so deeply that in our darkest, hottest moments, the smallest voice of compassion can drown out evil, create new beginnings, and remind every parent that the legacy we leave isn't in what we save for ourselves, but in who we carry through the flames. If this powerful tale of courage, fatherhood, and love rising from ashes moved you to tears, drop a comment below. Have you ever refused to leave someone behind when everything told you to run? What does that kind of bravery mean to you? Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another heartfelt story that reminds us why we keep showing up for each other.